Hello, my name is Armando. I'm going to be showing you how to use Git, GitHub, and the terminal to create projects and to save them online into a cloud service called GitHub. And we're going to go step by step. To start with, you may be wondering what's the difference between Git and GitHub. Well, Git is just the system for version control, and GitHub is a cloud web service that allows you to save your code into it. You could also think of Git as being local to your computer and GitHub being online, the place where you push your changes from your local computer into the cloud and then they stay there. Every time you make a change, you can use Git and then push your changes into GitHub, and then they're in GitHub, and then other people can see them once the code changes are in GitHub. Something else that we'll go over is how to set up your GitHub account, how to install Windows Git so that you can use a terminal to use Git, and then I'll show you the two different ways you can get a project started. In order to make a GitHub account, you just go to GitHub on Google, just type it, it's going to be the first link. Then, assuming you're not logged in, you would sign up if you don't have an account, or sign in if you already have an account. And that's all there is to it. Now, once you get this git bash window, it already comes with the git command. So if you type git, you'll see that it already comes with git by default. So every time you want to do a command that's a GitHub command, you have to start it with git and then you type the rest of the command. Now, we only want to run git commands once we are in a directory where our project is. In my opinion, GitHub and Git have two main benefits. One is that you can keep your code online so that you have access to it from any computer. It doesn't have to stay on just one computer. And the other benefit is that you can have people collaborate and easily add changes to the code, and that you can control which versions have which features. You have a lot of control with GitHub. So let's say that you're starting a website and you're working on page 1 of your website, and in GitHub you're going to have a main branch, and let's say you have a friend and then your friend wants to work on page 2 of the website, where your friend can create a new branch, make code changes, and then push and merge those code changes back into your main branch. The main branch is usually called master. And once he does that, then you're going to have page 1 and page 2 that your friend just committed. It's a very awesome way of having contributors. Now, to initialize, to create our project for the first time and to link it, and to link our local Git to the remote GitHub account, there are two ways to go about it. I am going to be showing you now the first way. The first way is you can actually create your repository locally. You can create your project locally, and then you can link it to the online GitHub. The second way is that you can create your project in GitHub. You create a new repository, and then you would clone it. You go on Git and you will clone it, and that way you could link it. And those are the two ways you can get a project started and linked to GitHub. Now, to set up Git so that you can control your changes on your local machine through the command line, I highly recommend using Windows Git. It's got a lot more features than your regular PowerShell or command terminal that comes with by default in Windows. You get a lot more functionality, and if you are familiar with Linux, it's a plus because you can use Linux commands to move around. It's just a great tool in general. So you just Google Windows Git, and then it's going to be the first link. You get the correct version for your operating system, and then you run it. Once you finish installing it, then you are going to be able to just type Windows Git or just Git. Then you just click Git Bash. You're going to get this window, and right here you can use Linux commands. Let's say I want to see in which directory I am at the moment. I would do present working directory, pwd, enter. I can see that I'm in C users A Toledo. You can also see that the slashes are / instead of backslashes as in Windows. So let's say that you have project, or you want to create a project locally before you link it. First, you navigate to where you want the repository to be. So we are right now in C users, A Toledo, and let's navigate to source and repos. You can see that we are in this directory now. We can see the files that are in this directory by typing ls or ll. And I want to create a new project, so I'm going to make a directory for the project. Make directory, and the name will be git test1. So you can see the project was created, git test1. Now you can go navigate into that directory. Now that we're inside the directory, we can tell Git that we want this directory to be a Git project, and we do that by typing git init. You can see it says initialize empty Git repository. So now Git test1 just became a Git project. Now it's still not linked to GitHub, so we can do that next. Okay, so one way you can check that you are in an initialized Git repository is you can type git status. It will tell you the status of your project. And as you can see, there are no commits yet. So let's go ahead and add just a simple text file to our project. Git test1. So you can see this is an invisible file, and the fact that there's a .git file means that this is a Git project. Now let's go ahead and create a new file. This is a simple text file, file1.txt, and let's type something here. My first file. Now if we go back to our Windows Git and we type git status, we are going to see that there's a new file, but it's untracked. Now we want to add this file to our staging. Once the file has been staged, then we can commit it, and when it's been committed, then we are ready to push it into GitHub. So let's do that. Git add to this would add it to staging, file1.txt. Now we commit, git commit. We need a message to commit. First commit. Now our file has been committed. If we do git status now, we're gonna see that there's nothing to commit because the only change that we created was already committed. At this point, we are ready to link our local Git to the remote GitHub and then push our changes. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go back to our GitHub account. We're going to create the online repository that we want to link to our local project directory. Then you can give it a name. I'm going to give it the same name of the project that I have locally, git test1. And we can give it a description. First git test repository. Then you have the option of making it public or private. If you make it public, anyone in the internet can see your code. If you make it private, it's only you can see it, or people that you choose to show it to. And it gives you the option if you want to initialize with a README file. In this case, we don't want to do that. We already have files in our local project, so we don't want to add anything from the website. And then we click create repository. Now our repository is done at this point, and the next thing that you're going to see is going to show you a link, and this is the link that you need to connect your local Git to the online GitHub. You need to copy this link. You will also see that there is an SSH option and an HTTPS option. I will talk about SSH later. For now, we're just going to do the simple HTTPS link. Just copy the link, and then we come back here, and then we are going to use the remote command to link to the online GitHub account. So we are going to type git remote, and then we want to add to the remote origin, and then you type the link. Just going to go ahead and paste that link. We're saying I want to connect my local Git with this remote repository that's in GitHub. And there you go. If you type git remote, it's going to show you that you are connected to the online repository. Now, even though we are linked at this point, it doesn't mean that our local files, and if you see here, we have a local file called file1.txt that has some text on it. It says my first file. So this local file still hasn't been pushed to our online repository in GitHub. So we still need to do that. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Or you can also see that in GitHub they also give you the command, so you can do this one is to link it. This is the one that we already ran. We ran this command, git remote add origin, and then the link. And now the next thing that we want to do is we want to push our changes into master. So let's see how we can do that. Git push, we want to push our changes into origin, and now origin is just the name of the online repository. By convention it's always origin, and then by convention the main branch, the first branch that's created for your online repository is called master. So we're going to type master, and then we're going to type enter. We're going to see what happens. It's going to ask me for my username and password to authorize it, and then you just type that in. Login. As you can see here, it's right into the online repository. It's pushing our changes, so now our changes are actually online. inside of the GitHub repository. So if we were to refresh, now we see that file 1 is in our online repository, and we are effectively linked. And as you can see, all you need to do is the 3 commands. You create a new file, see, we created the new file called file2, and then you can see which files have not been staged, and then you can stage them using the git add. If you just want to add everything that has not been staged yet, you can do git add -- all. That's going to add everything to staging, and then with commit you are effectively pushing everything that's from staging into a committed change that you are okay with. And you need a message every time you commit. Second commit added file2.txt, and then after you commit it, you're ready to push it. Git push, and then again you're pushing to the origin remote and to the master branch. Again, origin is just an alias for that link that we pasted earlier, which is the address of your online GitHub repository. So we're going to push to origin and to the master branch, and then it's saying that it was able to write to the master branch. And we're gonna check one more time. We're gonna refresh our repository, and you can see that the change was added. Okay, now I'm going to show you the second way that you can connect an online GitHub repository or project to a local Git repository or project. So I went ahead and created a new branch called branch2 for our project, and this, as you can see, is an already existing GitHub project. And what you want to do is you want to click clone. We copy the link, and then we go back to Windows Git, and we navigate to the directory in which you want to download or clone or pull the online GitHub project into. As you can see, we are in C users Eidolido, and I want to navigate to this directory, and I want to clone it here. So I'm going to type the commands git clone to download the project. It not only downloads the project, but it links it to your local Git project. And then we paste that link. I have to copy it one more time. Copy, paste, there we go. And let's see if it worked. Let's see if it pulled it down. As you can see, we didn't have git 1 test before. Now we have git 1 test, and not only did it pull it and cloned it, it already linked it to the GitHub account. So now if I go into git test 1, and you can see that it's telling you that we are in the master branch, and this is because now we have more than one branch. We have the master and we have branch 2, as you can see here. So let's say that I want to go into branch 2, add new changes, and then push those changes back into the repository. So the command to change branches is checkout, and it has to be a branch that already exists so that we're not creating it brand new. So git checkout, and then the name of the branch, which is branch 2. Let's see if it worked. It says we switch to branch 2. So now we're in branch 2. Any change that we do now is not going to be on master. So once we push those changes are going to be going into branch 2, not into master. Now the only way that the changes will go into the master branch is if you perform a merge. Now we're not going to be doing a merge now, but I'm going to show you how we're going to make changes and push them into branch 2, and there will already be a remote called origin that we can push to. So let's go ahead and make something new. Let's see what we have. We have two files, file 1 and file 2. Let's open up file 2. Let's type something into file 2. This is some new text additions to file 2. Now file 2 has been updated, and we change. Now if we click if we enter the command git status, it should tell us that file 2 has been modified. And now if to be able to push the changes, we always first have to add. I want to add all the changes that I've made, and then I want to commit the changes that I have made. This is step number 2. You always need a message for a commit. Made change to file 2 in branch 2. You can just literally type anything that you want in the commit message. It's just to keep track of the changes that you've done. And now I am ready to commit to push my changes into the remote, and the remote is going to be our project, our git test1 project. I'm just going to push the changes into the branch 2 because we are in branch 2. Let's see if that's true. Push origin, and now we type the branch that we want to push into branch 2. Let's see if it worked. It looks like it worked. Push the changes. Let's confirm that we have the changes. As you can see, branch 2 has been updated. Notice I'm still on master, so if I go into file 2, I'm not going to see the changes. But if I switch to branch 2 and then I click the file, you can see that it's being updated. You see, it's being updated in branch 2, not in master. Now, let's say that the owner of this project is happy with these changes that are in branch 2, and he wants to merge those changes back into the master branch, which is like the trunk of the tree. So what he can do is you click compare and pull request, and you can see up here that it tells you that it's able to merge. It means that there aren't any conflicts between the two branches. There isn't something that's different between branch 1 and branch 2 that would be in conflict that you would need to address before you can merge the two branches. So if we are good to go, then we go ahead and create the pull request. You can see the change that's being merged here. And now it says this branch has no conflicts, and then we can merge the pull request. We could also leave a comment. I am merging branch 2 into master with the changes to file 2.txt. You get the comment, and then we merge it. Confirm. And now let's go to our project, and now if we look in our master branch, file 2 contains the changes because we merged them from branch 2 into our master branch. Now, if you want to have a visual idea of what happened, GitHub has a built-in tool in the Insights tab. You click on it, and then you click on Network, and then you can see how we started with just the master branch, and then we created a new branch called branch 2, and then we merged it back into branch 1, and you could get a nice visual graph representation of what happened. And it makes sometimes if you have a lot of branches, it can be really hard to visualize, so it's awesome to have a tool like this. And that is it for this tutorial. Hopefully you learned something or reinforced some knowledge that you had, and I'll see you next time.